My name is Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds, everybody. How are we feeling after that? Well, the best case scenario, baby. Leeds United winning, getting all 3 points, getting that W, baby. Leeds United won, Everton nil. Let me say that again. Leeds United won, Everton nil. Given the Triple H's there, everybody. Shout out to all the WWE fans in the building. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Absolutely fantastic stuff. As I've just mentioned, Leeds United, top of the pile. I was about to say top of the league, we're not. I wish we were. But there we go. It doesn't matter. Fantastic by the Whites. Listen, all ends up, I think Leeds put in a really stellar performance there, if I'm honest with you guys. A really stellar performance of which we can be proud of. I think there was a lot there of which we can look at and take forward. I really liked the possession. I really liked in the first half how crazy we were in terms of winning that ball back and the drive to be in the pocket and the drive to get forward. The drive to get forward for Leeds United in that game was absolutely brilliant. I thought we were all ends up in that first half the much better team. And you kind of turn around at the end of that first half and you're thinking to yourself, flipping it, Leeds looking really decent here. Very decent indeed. But I have to say, some standouts as well from the new signings. We had some of the standouts for that game in particular. I think we're all quite aware of that. The lads turned up. The lads were, I thought, to a man, especially in that first half, Gabby Goodmanson, Anton Stack. I thought Tanaka grew into it a little bit more in the second half, but I thought Peru's link-up play was very, very decent, has to be said. But overall, Leeds were the better team, 100%. We're going to get into the development of the game, though, everybody, of course. But we're just gonna shout out, of course, the winners of the OK jersey competition, everybody. And if you're not aware, we had an OK jersey competition, of which I'm absolutely delighted to have on the channel as sponsors. And yeah, we had some winners in the game. So we're just going to be shouting that out now, everybody. But good to see you guys all coming in as well. A lot of the winners here, a lot of the regulars, etc. Guys, I'd like to say first winner is EPC for the OK jersey. So that is the first winner, EPC. We had a solid night. Just need a bit more of that in the final third. Hopefully, DCL can bring that. Anton Stack is the best player in the Prem, 100%. Really pleased with that. And we managed to do so well on possession stats. If we can add quality creator and another CF, we might be doing better. Stack the man, such a quality pen. Ampadu isn't a Premier League footballer, though. He isn't, mate. Remember that. Remember that. Keith says, hello, Connor. I'm so happy. Well done to the lads. Love that game, honestly. God, Andy, I'm not thinking about where the next Leeds points are coming from, mate. Second winner as well. So we've got EPC. We've got EPC for the OK jersey. You've won a free jersey, mate. Let me know one Leeds fan channel at gmail.com. We're doing these on a lot of the watch alongs. EPC, won yourself a jersey. Next one, second winner is Josh. Okay, that's your YouTube name. Let me know in the emails, everybody. And the third winner's coming as well. Drum roll. Oh, and you'll only get this if you're a part of the watch along, everybody. We've got 5 winners of jerseys tonight, free 5 jerseys as well. Leon, when you're ready, mate, we're waiting for that. Who's next, Leon? Oh, still waiting. So, Leon, you're absolutely failing here, mate. But yeah, Ice Cold Metcha, Tanaka shows he loves the club. That performance might help. Yeah, 100% in terms of confidence. I think it was absolutely unequivocally brilliant. And the third winner, Lee Fitness, 0-1. Top man 101. Shout out to you, Lee. I know you're there, buddy. I know you're there. So let us know, everybody, on the emails as well. Right, let's get into it. We've done the competition announcement. I want to say tonight I was really proud of my club. Really proud of my club. And the reason behind that is because let's go through the game. Let's go through the game chronologically. I've just touched on a little bit of what Leeds were doing at the start. We got into the game and it kind of felt very similar to what we're all used to, right? In pre-season, Leeds need additions in the final third. We're all aware of that. We need additions. When you've got the front line that we've got, it's going to be decent to a certain level, but you've got to give them flowers. Peru was brilliant tonight, I thought. Nonto was good tonight, I thought, in the pockets that he played. I thought he probably should have stayed on the pitch, maybe gone over to the right, and then potentially we could have had a sub on the other side, whether it be Jack Harrison, whoever. But I thought Nonto could have gone onto that right-hand side. But I thought Aronson, when he came on, actually did quite well. Harrison did okay in protecting the ball as well. But getting into the game from the very start, Leeds were excellent. Leeds were brilliant. We took control of the game. Bearing in mind, we're back up against an Everton side with a front line like that. You know, a front line. I know Beto was playing, but on the bench, how consistent they've been as a Premier League side. I thought Leeds got into the game and were really impressive. We took the ball off Everton and we started moving between. I think in the pockets we're excellent, in the half spaces we're excellent, tight spaces we're excellent. Everybody looked press resistant. I thought Goodmanson was absolutely quality. Let's just see what the match ratings are as well over here. We've gone to the Everton side there, but let's just go on to the Leeds side, the one that we care about. It's only going to give us the end result as well when it comes to players. But I think when you look at Gabby Goodmanson, he was my man of the match. And I know you're looking at Metro and you're thinking he's the goal scorer, but Goodmanson was so good tonight. I thought his decision making was brilliant. He never lost the ball, and what a replacement! By the way, in preseason, that was his best performance tonight. So you've gone from preseason. And then your best game is in the Premier League. That is unbelievable. 13 Champions League starts as well. That's something to have in your bank as well. But I thought tonight he was brilliant, the man that we've got from Lille. I thought that Stack and him in the first half looked like two seasoned Premier League players. Two seasoned Premier League players. They were playing between each other. I thought the decision making was right. They were opening the body at the right time as well when it comes to closed and open body approach. You guys know how keen I am on that. Stack's ball carrying was superb. They could not close him down. And I thought Goodmanson's ball carrying was brilliant as well. Sometimes he'd jerk one way and then basically rotate his body, do a little pirouette on the ball and take it past you, man. That was really impressive as well. And I have to say, overall, I just couldn't believe the start. And look, we're kind of used to this when it comes to Leeds United. We're used to it when you think to yourself, look, well, we've dominated most games of the Championship, but this is the Premier League. It is against a David Moyes side who could quite easily have taken the ball off us in that game. Quite easily taken the ball off us and dictated play. And we saw that in the second half a little bit. But Gabby Goodmanson was phenomenal. Anton Stack was superb. I have to say, I thought as well, Rodon and Strauch stepped up. I thought on the ball when they were building out from the back, because you saw that with Leeds United tonight, right? You saw us building out from the back, which we were all saying in preseason, we're going to go direct. I thought we were in a 4-3-3, pick up the bits in and around the striker. We didn't do that. We built up from the back, and we predicted that on TalkSport a little bit earlier. You can check that interview out, guys. That's on the channel. But we're building out from the back, and Leeds were doing it really well. Now, we've got to be pragmatic going forward in the Premier League. You can't be passing it out from the back against Newcastle and Arsenal. You've got to be a little bit more sweet and cute and clever than that. But tonight, what we did was we played to our strengths, which was the Championship side of Leeds United, which came out tonight as well in terms of us playing out from the back, building out through the metronome, Tanaka, but also varying that midfield play. I thought it was really, really good. Tanaka dropping in deep, bringing it out. Ampadu, I thought, yeah, just up against Dewsbury all smash anytime he got the ball, but as well, just giving him a little bit as well. You're not coming here. You're not coming to our place. You're not coming here to our patch and having control of it, fella. No chance. And I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. You're not coming here, with your step overs and your center of gravity and your balance, and you turn on your left and you turn on your right. Absolutely not. Not in Ethan Ampadu's house, not in our captain's house. Bang, and the dirty's gone. Sillick, bang. Barry Scott. Every single time I thought he was in on the challenge, really marshalling him well. And Dewsbury all struggled to get on the ball because I think Ampadu was just his shadow in that game. He really was his shadow. And in the first half, I thought the midfield complemented each other really, really well. Now, going forward, let's touch on Joel Peru a little bit. Now, what I have to say about Joel Peru is final third, look, not amazing. And I thought he kind of ebbed out towards the end of the first half. But can I tell you something about Joel Peru tonight? I thought the link-up play in terms of him being on the ball and just when Leeds were at their best tonight, Joel Peru was in that team. The link up with Joel Peru and Anton Stack and Ethan Ampadu and Al Tanaka in that first half, the one touch, the two touch, playing it round this Everton midfield, of which people like myself have been gassing up. And this was a rotated Everton side in terms of the fullbacks, but that central space was still what it was. It was still a very good nucleus of that side, the spine. Very good nucleus, and one that they dragged on from a Premier League season last season. But just in those pockets, in around those half spaces, Leeds were popping it off one, two touch. It was excellent. Really good football. And Peru was part of that. The link-up play, the one touch from Joel Peru, whether or not it was round the corner, facing his man, or just almost finessing it out wide. Lovely, lovely play by Joel Peru. And when Peru was when Peru was playing, that was where Leeds were at the best. Okay, the only thing that I noticed from Joel Peru is he's getting dragged out to come towards the ball. And that's with Joel Peru in that number 10 spot, isn't it? But I tell you what, and this wasn't Joel Peru's fault. The synergy needed to be a little bit more, and this might come with time. Joel Peru was dragging Tarkowski out. He was dragging him out. Tarkowski was following him, And then Leeds would get the ball out wide at Gabby Goodmanson or Jaden Bogle, and they'd try to put the ball into the box, but nobody was there because Joel Peru had gone out. Now, that's not Peru's fault. Peru's done his job. He's dragged Tarkowski out. That's when you need Stack to be running into the box, or Longstaff, whoever's on the pitch, a runner in the future, to be able to replace that run and replace that presence in the box and put that finishing touch on it. But Peru did his job. He dragged people out. We know he's not that type of striker who's just going to stay Fox in the box. He'll like to drag you out into that number 10. I thought Peru was excellent. I thought he was really good in that first half. Died off a little bit when the physicality came to it. And we spoke about this in the pre-match. When that ball starts going like that, he's the wrong man up there. And that's why when you saw Metcha come on, you saw him battling, getting in between Jake O'Brien and Tarkowski and giving them a little bit. And that hold up, I think Metcha's brilliant hold up. I think his hold up is brilliant. Okay, guys, just on the giveaway, I've just got a message, and Josh and Lee Fitness haven't claimed. We are going to have to re-roll it. They haven't come to claim. We've re-rolled on OK Jersey, and the winners are Kitty Soft Paws and Matt Stevens. Kitty Soft Paws and Matt Stevens, everybody. You don't claim your prize, you don't win the prize. Shout out to you guys. But listen, I thought Peru did a very, very good job. I was really impressed with him. Didn't expect him to be that good, I have to be honest with you. But styles make fights, and I didn't think that game would work for him. It did work for him in an extent, but we saw the limitations maybe of Peru as well when it came to that long ball. But in that first half, in terms of some of this one touch, it was brilliant. Okay, and then we kind of got to the back end of the half, didn't we? And you were thinking, Leeds have got to score here. We're on top. It's the Premier League. This doesn't happen. You know, when you're on top like this, you've got to score. You've got to score. And it just felt, it didn't quite connect. We can't pretend this didn't happen, but it wasn't really connecting. And we've seen this against Villarreal, against AC Milan, against Manchester United, against the top end teams in pre-season. Leeds struggle with that, almost like electricity. They struggle with that dynamism in the final third, that pace. They really lack that pace, which sounds crazy, doesn't it, when you're talking about Dan James? But when build-up is facilitated, really, and has been in pre-season on Nonto's side, you do like that pace a little bit. And we know DJ is much better running over the back of defenses in terms of pace than being on the ball, in my opinion. And just getting it out of his feet, because it becomes a little bit more predictable. You want that ball over the top for DJ to beat that press as well. But yeah, listen, so yeah, we'll marshaled a little bit, I thought, in that front line, but it is what it is, everybody. It is what it is. We got into that second half and you were thinking, we're having a little bit of conversation on the watch along, and before we get into it, you're kind of looking at it and you're thinking to yourself, right, Everton are going to come out here. And look, we're all smart. We've watched football before. We know these teams are a little bit too good. But I was maybe taken aback by sort of how in that first 15 minutes, Leeds were just giving the ball away quite quickly. And we kind of lost the press. We lost the press. And you've got to sit in, of course you have, but to completely lose any form of press. And I thought that kind of hindered Leeds a little bit. There was such a brilliant press on Everton in that first half, and we didn't have that. We sat in a bit of a low block, and it kind of worked for us. But if it was a header here or a header there, because they were close at some points and maybe just getting that flick on and getting it in the back of the net, I thought to myself, Leeds are just playing with danger, playing with fire a little bit, especially when you've got Jake O'Brien on the pitch, Tarkowski, Beto, Barry at one point. Got to be careful. There's a lot of big boys there. And if you think about everybody, we didn't have a lot of our big boys on today. It felt like just Stat, Roden and Strout, wasn't it? Which it was. Bornau wasn't playing. Metcha didn't start. Longstaff wasn't playing. DCL wasn't in the squad. So a lot of our big boys weren't playing. But I thought we dealt with it well. The management was really good from the back too. And I think we've come away with the result there against a really good team. I don't think they're going to be there or thereabouts. I genuinely don't believe that. I think they're going to add more players as well towards the back of the window. I think when you're getting Jai, Grealish and Dewsbury Hall fit and firing with Alcaraz's rotation and Tieno, Barry, Beto rotating up top, maybe another attacker coming in, I think they're going to be very good this season, Everton. I've actually predicted them to be top 10, which I know you look at now because we've beaten them, but we're top 7. No, joking, maybe. But listen, I think they'll do really well. So that is a big feather in our cap there. A big feather in our cap. But let's talk about the second half as well before we get into a lot of your comments, everybody. And I appreciate that there's comments coming in, and I will get into them. The second half we had to really hold, but we did lose a little bit of a press, but went into a bit of a low mid block. And then out of nowhere, you saw Stack. I don't know about you guys, but I thought Ampadu then suddenly went into the better player. Ampadu was then the better player before that horror tackle and a little bit after it as well. I thought Tanaka and Stack, I thought a little bit in that second half at points, they weren't really getting hold of the ball. They weren't really dominating like they were in that, or at least Stat was in that second half. And then out of nowhere, you saw an absolutely unbelievable turn of events when it came to Altanaka. Altanaka just almost did he go off and have some sort of Lucozade Sport or something else? You know what I mean? He went off the pitch for a second or two, came back on. I think he went off for a little bit of a breather, and he came, and suddenly Altanaka was leading a press. He was leading a press. He was everywhere. He was pressing that back line effectively as well. And we started winning balls in the final third. We started recovering balls in that final third, which is exactly what we were doing in the first half. And we lost that in the first 20 minutes when it came to a press, and Tanaka led it. And all of a sudden, Altanaka in that 20 minutes grew about 6 foot. He was enormously good for Leeds United. And then he brought Stack into the game again, who was out of the game a little bit because I think he was doing it all himself at points in that first half, you know, when it came to that ball carrying, that box to box approach, but also winning those duels. I thought Tanaka and Ampadu were maybe a little bit more quiet, albeit I thought Ampadu was probably the second best midfielder in there. But then Tanaka grew, and then all of a sudden you saw Stack grow, and they both were pressing Everton in, and they were holding them in, and Everton couldn't really get through. There's a couple of slips in there, but Everton had to be perfect on the ball because Stack was there. Tanaka was there. Absolutely excellent when it came to the physicality and the athleticism of them both. Just so impressive. So impressive. Stack, especially overall, what a debut that was. And Tanaka won my heart. Right, we've re-rolled Kitty Softpaws. The winner, Jamie Farrell. Okay, so eventually we've got our 5. Right, Jamie, if you don't come and collect your prize, you don't get the OK jersey prize, everybody. Jamie, I know you're in the chat, mate. You are our 5th winner. Right, okay. But yeah, listen. And then we press now the penalty. The penalty. Now, I thought he tried to dive and pick the ball up. And so when you think about it like that, penalty, Kara saying it's a pen. Okay, there we go. And Kara is an Everton fan. Look, he'll say he's a Liverpool fan, but he grew up an Everton fan. What I'll say about it is there was a fall, and it's an unnatural position. And he's going to his side, and his arm gives him an advantage. Of course it does, because the ball isn't blocked with his hip. It's not going to be blocked or just with the side of his body. He has to put his arm there and go towards the ball for it to be blocked. So in that respect, his arm is giving him a massive advantage, because if the arm wasn't there, potentially it's deflected in, or potentially it just goes past his body and goes into the back of the net. Potentially, we'll never know. But the arm gives him that sustenance to block the ball, and he leans towards the ball to block it. So that makes sense for it to be a penalty, because he's used his arm technically to stop the ball. Now, where people are having kittens is his arm was close to his body, but his arm was still used. He leaned into the ball. So if you lean into the ball and you obstruct the ball, it is a penalty, because that is handball. So you look at it like that, but we're all looking at it, and the neutral will be looking at it. And I'm already seeing everybody kicking off online about it. The neutral will look at it and go, oh, his arms. Yeah, but he's leaning towards the ball. It's not like he's just stood there and his arm's there and the ball's just hit him straight on. Okay, if it's there, the ball hit him straight on. Fair enough. But he's leaning towards the ball with his arm then towards the ball, and that becomes an obstacle. So you can see why it is a penalty. What I would say, if that was given against us, you would be absolutely gutted. And I completely understand that, because it is fine margins. But for me, overall, after watching it back about 400 times, I initially saw it and I went, that's going to be overturned. No way, that's a penalty. And that's because, you know, I know what VAR's like. Tarkowski looked very confident it was going to be overturned. But as I say, when you actually look at the real, if you actually look at it in slowed down, and you kind of look at it, to be fair, in real time, he's leaning towards the ball. It's a handball. Villa fans. Hey, we got Villa fans in the chat. Hey. Rent free, rent free, rent free, rent free. By Connor's description, that was 100% a penalty. There you go, mate. He also caught the ball and ran off, so it's definitely a penalty. It was, if that was given against us, we'll be seething. But I think both Cara and Neville say it was a penalty as well. Connor, I wouldn't complain if that was given against us. Fair enough. Let's get into a couple of your comments, everybody. Well happy with Ampadu and Tanaka up the lead. Let's go and get them likes in for Connor. Yeah, guys, I really appreciate it. We're on the watch along, and it's going to be used in the match reaction as well. what we're going to try and do is bring you guys gifts, rewards, etc. Because I want to give back to you for giving so much to the channel as well. It's been an incredible summer. It's been an incredible year for me on the channel, and we want to give back as well. And that's why we partnered up with certain sponsors that I know you guys will really enjoy. So it's been a hard summer for me getting these people on board, but we have got them on board. So please get involved, be interactive, be engaged, and I'm sure we'll have a good time. Spot on Connor, but playing Perot in that way doesn't get us goals. Metcha should start, in my opinion. Makes problems for defenders. I'd rather Nonto on that right. James and Bogle don't seem fit as seamless as Nonto and Bogle, then Ramazani on that right. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Let's get into a couple of the super chats as well. Is it too early to start talking? Fraser, stop it. Loft says Everton, West Ham, Wolves, Brentford will be you-know-what in it. Getting Connor, Cara, and Neville say it's a pen. Yeah, I think there's going to be a very unhappy group on. But, you know, I keep saying this. I always say this in football. If it's a close game, you kind of look at this. I think if that's a boxing match, we win it. I think we were the better team on the night. I think Neville said it as well, but I think you just look at the general. Look, we need forwards. We need forwards. They've got a lot of forwards in. A lot of forwards in. I don't think our squad is complete yet. I think we all know that. They had the boost of Grealish in that side. We didn't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you know? We've not had our player who was brought in on what Friday night, and we expected him to be in the squad. I think we were all quite surprised him not being in the squad. Our bench isn't as good as theirs because we need a little bit more sustenance in attack. You've got the chairman coming on before the game and saying, look, we need more players, or we're going to get more players. We're going to sign more players. Farker has said this a couple of weeks ago anyway. He said this a week ago. We said this in the press conference. We need more players. And I think that's all going to be in the forward line. But I think what you've seen tonight is a real building block. Can I just say something? We haven't conceded many goals, have we? Against top opposition. We conceded one goal against Man United. We've conceded one goal against Villarreal. Bearing in mind, Villarreal are going to be pushing for that top 5 this year. You've conceded one goal against AC Milan. Yeah, and you've conceded no goals against Everton. I know it's preseason. I know we're going into season right now, but when we actually go into it, when we actually go into the side of it, of which is, you know, how Leeds are shaping up. I always said in preseason, it's really important to understand the relationships, the dynamics between the players. The result isn't that important, but it's more about on and off the ball, the shape, a 4-3-3. How's it going to work? What are the different dynamics in midfield? If we're playing out if we're going to build up on that right hand side, or we're going to build up on the left hand side, which I think Leeds have started to do. Why are we doing that? What are the reasons behind that? Oh, because Goodmanson's very good on the ball. He can work on that overload. He can invert. That makes a lot of sense. And Nonto is very good as a almost visionary winger as well, playing that ball in around the side, or you know, sometimes playing it through defenders' legs and stuff like that. And he's very intricate when it comes to that. He's a good technical footballer. So that makes sense when it comes to build up. Anton Stack is also on that left hand side. So that makes a lot of sense in terms of that trio build up. Very similar to like what we'd see with, you know, Click, Pablo, and Luke Ayling, maybe on that right hand side at points for Marcelo Bielsa's outfit. So yeah, I think I have to say, everybody, really impressed with Leeds United in this game. And let's get into a couple more comments. Love Leeds from Pakistan. Shout out to you, Mr. Timor. Hope all's good, mate. Ramazani needs to play in the Arsenal game. No problem, Amy Rogers. No problem, Amy Rogers. I was questioning it too. Ramazani, interesting one. Look, all day, every day, and twice on a Sunday, I'm starting. I'm bringing Ramazani on ahead of Harrison. Look, we are not. Well, look, come on. And I don't want to get in too many bogged down approaches here, but I think there's a reason Ramazani is not playing. I don't think Farker fancies him off the ball. I think you could see that today. Leeds were digging in whether or not it'd be a draw, which Farker might have gone for. You know, it was 0-0. He brought on Harrison, Gruev, and Metcha, didn't he? Some may say he was trying to save for a draw there. I thought that on the watch along, which would have been a good result as well. But I don't think in a system when you're effectively working as a low block operation or mid to low block, he sees Ramazani is good enough off the ball. On the ball, we all know how good he is. I think Daniel Farker questions him off the ball. And I think this is the problem. Now, you bring Jack Harrison on. We've seen in preseason against AC Milan, Jack Harrison was working as a left wing back. So he rates Jack Harrison evidently better off the ball, hence why I think Farker was working for a draw, than on the ball. Okay, so I think on the ball, Farker probably knows that he's one of the best in the squad and he's electric. But I don't think Leeds were trying to hurt Everton in the transition at any point. I think Farker was thinking to himself, I would take the point here, but worst case scenario, we lose the game. And that was the worst case scenario tonight. So I think in his mind, the off the ball work was unequivocally important and of the utmost tonight. And that is why he brought Jack Harrison on. That is why he brought Brendan Harrison on, potentially ahead of Longstaff as well. Okay, so Longstaff's a runner. He's going to bomb on. Maybe that defensive shape and what Aronson has been honed to do under a Daniel Farker system is why it was clear for Daniel Farker. Now that is me giving reasons for Daniel Farker. Now we've won the game, I can turn around and say genius. But that's why I think he'd done it, and I think you're going to see that a lot more. I personally think Ramazani will be moved on this window. I think he'll be moved on. I think he's going to want more minutes, which I think is fair. And I'm not sure that's married up with Daniel Farker. I think when you see Leeds signing Noah Okafor, which is going to happen in the next couple of days, I think personally that is going to see the end of Largy Ramazani at Leeds United. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times before. Math says, I don't think it was a pen, but I'll take it. Nonto also probably cost Peru a goal as well by not passing before getting clipped from behind. Yeah. Also, Michael, in that situation, he should have had a shot, shouldn't he, mate? Tanasha Bosch down a Red Bull, I expect. Anyone see my kitty? No idea where they've gone, mate. Ren, if she wasn't here to claim it, it's been withdrawn. Thank you so much, Josh. Always top quality in this chat, buddy. My name is Tao says, I just saw the highlight and anyone saying it wasn't a handball and it wasn't a penalty clearly didn't see the sneaky, deliberate save James tried making in Everton's box. Honestly, Connor, I'm not starting Ramazani. Fair enough, mate. Neville's just said that Everton were very poor tonight and did not deserve to win. Spot on, Gary. Yes, I agree. I completely agree. I don't think that like it's not like sour grapes or anything. We've got nothing to be sour about. We won the game. I think Everton. I've given them a lot of plaudits on here as well. You come to the One Leeds channel, and I feel I'm quite balanced when it comes to opposition team. I'm not going to be too biased. I know people like that sometimes. Like Connor, just gas up Leeds and throw shade on the opposition team. I'm not going to do that. I'm not. That's just never been my style. But I think when it comes to Everton, they're a good team. I think they're in a better stead when it comes to what we are in terms of completion of squad. I think when you look at the right back, I think when you look at the left back, it was a little bit of a problem tonight. But I also thought when you look at the overall squad, the options they've got on the bench, Everton are fine. Everton are absolutely fine, in my opinion, anyway. They could have even gone to a three, couldn't they? They could have gone to a three at the back. Jake O'Brien, Tarkowski, and Michael Keane. They could have gone to a three at the back. That'd have probably worked as well. Means that you can siphon back into a back five as well if you needed to. So that's what they could have done. I'm not saying they'd have done that under Moyes, but if you're struggling for right back and left back, you could do that. So but Everton weren't impressive tonight. I thought they had a 10, 15-minute spell of which they were on top, but Leeds weathered it. But what did they do? Balls into the box. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I think an opportunity from Dewsbury Hall that went over the bar. But I expected a lot more from Everton tonight. And it's when we go to the Hill Dickinson Stadium, it's going to be tougher, I'm sure. But we might be in a much better stead there as well when it comes to our squad. But I don't think Everton were on a stance right, tonight where I'm turning around and going, what a brilliant team they were, and they're miles ahead of us. I didn't think so, and they're a more accomplished side, they're a more complete side. But when I look at it overall, Leeds United gave as good as they got tonight, and I thought we were probably 70-30, or at least sort of 65-35, the better team tonight for me. Mate, the vultures will be out for Stack, so he must stay up. Telly, I agree, mate. I agree. I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, should we go through the team? Should we do that? And obviously we can see Perry. Um, Perry. Look, and this is a positive stream. We just won a game, won a Premier League game. We cannot look, and a lot of you guys have been asking about Perry. His kicking's not great. We knew that when we signed him. His short range passing looks okay. His kicking's not great, and you saw the difference between Pickford's kicking tonight and Perry's kicking. But I'm not looking at Perry to be kicking the ball accurately, consistently. I'm looking at Perry to be aiding Leeds United on transition when he gets the ball in the counter attack and utilising those long throws. That's what I'm looking at. And if he can handle the ball, if he can get down to his left and right quickly and efficient enough, like he has done for Leon, I'm fine with that. Doing the basics, but listen, we want a little bit more from that, obviously, because he's playing in Europe last season. He's a goalkeeper, of which we brought in with a lot of pedigree at 6'5" as well, and a big reputation. But I don't think kicking's his game from a standing position, in particular. I just thought even just the the mid to long range kicking was just off consistently in this game, and even when it was that instinctive kicking when the ball was played to him, and he was under a bit of pressure, and like the bit in the first half where he just smacked it straight to a Iliman Ndiaye, and I'm thinking, oh no. But look, overall, he's kept a clean sheet. He's kept a clean sheet, so I'm happy with that, and we'll wait and see with Perry. It might take him a while to get back in. I think pre-season he's only had 45 minutes. He's had 45 minutes, so let's bear in mind that he's going to be a little bit rusty as well. That should give him a lot of confidence as well. Came out, made some good handles, saved a really good low effort, I thought, which could have crept in and probably would have crept in with Elan Melier, down to his low left and went out for a corner. And yeah, I was pretty confident. Was pretty confident. So yeah, Gabe says, hi, Gabe. Perry caught the cross in the box. He didn't flap on crosses and let him weak goals or throw it into his own net. Improvement. Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I'm kind of just focusing on the kicking there, but I agree. Moisey saying it's the crowd that made the ref give the pen. That's how it works, Moisey, isn't it? Yeah. Even though it went to VAR, it's the crowd. That's what it is. Because even though he sat there for 2 minutes with his hand on his ear, speaking to him in St. George's Park, wherever it was the crowd. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's logistical from Moise. If Ramazan isn't getting minutes because of defensive work, not sure why we are getting Okafor. The guy's lazy defensively. Chris. If I gave you, Chris, a bag of gold, you'd turn around and say it was too heavy. Do you know what I mean, Chris? Come on, brother. Come on, my man. We have just beaten Everton. Be happy, my friend. And look, I'm not a short term thinker. I'm not a short term thinker. You guys know I'm a very much a long term thinker. So I am looking at that, but just enjoy it, mate. Wins in this division. We are probably going to lose 12 to. I keep getting low with this, don't I? But we're probably going to lose within the ream, within the bracket of 13 to 17 games this season. And that'll be on a good season. If we lose anywhere near to 13 to 14 games, we've had a fantastic season, especially if we're getting those wins up. But the likelihood is it's going to be 17 plus losses or 16 plus losses at least. So you've got to enjoy this. You've got to enjoy it because we've got to buckle in for the next two. We've got to buckle in, but we welcome back Yakabio, which is going to be brilliant, especially against Gyökeres from last week. But you've got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy it, because these are going to come at an absolute premium. And that's why the fan base has been kind of a bit tetchy with these signings, because I genuinely believe all the fan base are well aware of how hard this is going to be this season. So we've got to dig in. We've got to be strong. We've got to enjoy it when we get these wins. When it comes to wins, I'm talking about draws as well. Do you know what I mean? We can all go on a night out and we get a couple of draws as well. But we've got to enjoy it. We've got to enjoy these wins. Not get too overzealous. Not get too excited about it, of course. We've got to keep our level heads on. But I think overall, everybody, this is a really, really good result for Leeds United. I've mentioned this previously as a statistic. The first 10 games, if you get 11 points, every team that has done that has stayed in the division. Every team that has done that has stayed in the division. Now, as of the weekend ending, we've got two promoted teams on 3 points. Now, you can't get a better start. Sunderland have scored 3 goals. Shout out to Sunderland, beating a West Ham side. I'll be honest, I think we beat a better team. I think Everton are a better team than West Ham. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? We've beaten them 1-0, clean sheet. I thought 70% of the game we were the better team. Yeah, especially with um, you know, especially with the set piece threat. Chris, I can see you saying that as well, mate. So yeah, I think we did well tonight. I think we did well. Frey says, I thought it was a great decision not playing DCL, as he would have been overexcited to prove a point against Everton and maybe injured himself. You got to think that as well, and we're looking at it as well, everybody. You got DCL coming back in. You got some new players coming in as well, which is just going to aid the side. And then you got Yakabio coming in, our statement defensive signing, one of the absolute stars of Euro 2024. You've got Yaka coming in, and as replacement centre backs, you come into the division, and Rodon and Strauch have not put a foot wrong. I don't think they both put a foot wrong. I think they were both outstanding tonight, especially Pascal Strauch on Gabby's side. But Bogle struggled a little bit tonight, but I think overall, when you're looking at that side, how that side ended, you've got to fill out that depth. You've got to fill out that depth when it comes to Gruev, Aronson, Harrison. You've got to fill out that depth. Of course you have. But to have an incomplete side to go into the season and to win 1-0, I don't think it's bad at all. I don't think it's bad. Okay, Chris. Well, you don't sound like you're enjoying it, mate. So, come and buy me a drink. How about that? Bob Young says Everton's XG 0.55, Leeds is 2 points up. There you go. XG reflects a lot as well. XG reflects a lot. So there you go. They didn't. What did they? With the greatest of respect, what did they do? They didn't do much, did they? I think there's a couple of occasions where the ball was bobbling in and it was Tieno Barry got on it, and I think Beto got on it and Tarkowski at the back post, but they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. And a lot of the fair play to Everton fans, and it's all about opinions in football, but they'll turn around and say, well, they didn't feel threatened by Leeds United. But I thought there was a lot of times in that first half where we sort of got in between their midfield and the defense, and it was just that final touch. But at the end of the day, who cares? Who cares? We won the game. We won the flipping game. Midfield was immense. Anton Stack, take a bow, son. Rice says, get in. Perfect outcome. Got the win and made it clear where improvements are needed. Jay says 100%. We need to work on our set pieces. One goal makes a difference. It's a win. All leads, aren't we? Exactly. Connor, seriously, come back down from that cloud you're on. I've watched this channel from the start. You have been honest. That second half was. You know what I mean? A bag of gold. They'd complain and say it was too heavy. Swear to God. We've won the game. We've just beaten a Premier League side. What do you want us to do? Score 5? It'd have been great. Don't get me wrong. You might have watched the channel from the start. I am honest. I'm happy with the win, Sans. Look, mate, I'll be pretty. Look, opinions are. I just can't understand how you can't enjoy this, buddy. I can't understand how you can't enjoy this. The second half, we scored the winning goal. And yeah, you had to. It was a different game, but you're not just going to have it all your own way. We're not a championship side where we've got 90% of possession and the other team doesn't get into our half. By the way, which they barely did. They barely had a shot, really, when you're looking at it from open play. Jake O'Brien had a header over the bar. They had a couple of bobblers. The second half, we won the game in the second half. Towards the last 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, I thought we were the better team. I thought we were definitely the better team. We had a period for the first sort of 20 minutes where we had to dig in. I'd agree with that. But the XG reflects who were the better teams, who created the more chances, the quality of chances. Yes, we need to finish it going forward. Of course we do. And that's hopefully what new signings are going to do. But when Dominic Calvert-Lewin wasn't playing, hopefully you're looking at Noah Okafor coming in and making a difference. I'm hoping that's what fingers crossed are for from an attacking sense. But, mate, come on. Come on. We did well as a newly promoted side. We're never going to have the entire game on our side. We're not. I said this ain't been easy. I agree, man. I mean, I said it. It was, and we all said it as well in the chat. It's unfortunately it's not going to be our way. We're not going to have it our way for the majority of this Premier League campaign. But I tell you what, for 70% of that game, we had it our way. Just the final touches, just missing something. And can I say as well? I thought we looked tough. I thought we looked tough in terms of the individual battles, the duels. I don't think Grealish did that much when he came on. I don't think Tieno Barry did that much when he came on. And these are players. The Grealish is costing them a lot of money. Tieno Barry cost them a lot of money. Don't think they did anything when they came on. Dewsbury Hall was completely ineffective in the game. Completely ineffective. So yeah, let's go Knox. Big win, mate. Big win. Big win indeed. Let's enjoy it, buddy. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. We're going to be back tomorrow with the 3 things that we learned, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please like the video. I hope you enjoy the prizes. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I will see you tomorrow with the 3 things that we learned from Leeds United 1, Everton 0. I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.